Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning, and hope you're having a wonderful day and a wonderful start to your day. And as per usual, we'll give out our roll call as soon as we get a few folks coming on. Okay, here we go. Got some folks here that are seeing their notifications. Andrea from Niagara Falls, Mike from Norland, Brahim, our friend from Portland, Oregon, Marnie, good morning to you. We appreciate you guys coming on with us. Lori Lee from Ventura, California, Michelin, Jeanette from our staff, Yvonne, how are you? And Gary from Bolton, Karen, Kincardine, Kristen, how is you? Nellie, good morning. Wendy from Markham, and Fran from Orangeville, Janet, Thunder Bay, Bill, good morning. Yolande, bonjour. And Anne, St. Catharines, good morning. Margaret, Lakeland. And Bonnie, good morning. Len and Judy, Edmonton, Alberta. And Doc McEwen, how is ya? Sue, today's the first day of summer, huh? Fran. And Jeanette, bonjour. Nick from our staff. And boy, we're getting a real heat spell here. Donna, Bell Valley, Veronica. Nice to have you on. Georgie, Halifax, Eva, and Donna from Arkansas. Olive, Timmins, Noeline, good morning. We appreciate you guys. Carol from Mount Pearl, Newfoundland, and Jody, Mara, Ottawa, Nina, Chatham, and we appreciate you guys. Marilyn and Darlene, South Carolina, and Bonnie, Brenda, Campbell River, Wendy, another Wendy from Elmer, and Jody from Sudbury, Maria, good morning, and Jocelyn from Baxter, Sheila, Sudbury. Yeah, we got a lot of people from Sudbury. Judy, Kathy, good morning. Kevin, I missed you again. Kevin, I don't. Rosa, how are you? And Gertie, how is you? I know, I missed you guys. I don't know what happens. Believe you me, and I don't want to touch my device here because I liable to blow everything. Anyway. Wanda from Virginia, good morning. Okay. Now, I want to talk about the reset a little bit this morning. Okay? And by the way, people are asking, in my last book, Metabolic Reset, okay? Don't worry, folks. My new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, has the Metabolic Reset in it. And the way I wrote it is question and answer. Okay, why the reset? Why 30 days? Why? Okay, because when I was writing it, I said, why don't I do sort of a question and answer Friday with the reset and only about the reset? So ask me any question you want about the reset. I think I covered them all because I'm looking. And I was up to, how many questions? Probably about 40 questions about the reset, okay? And we went into some real detail about why the reset and why it's so effective, okay? So the reset, again, 30 days. Its primary objective, okay, its primary objective is to lower insulin resistance. Its primary objective is to get the 93% of the population that has metabolic syndrome and take them out of danger. Because if you have metabolic syndrome, anybody around you has metabolic syndrome, and think about it, 93%. Went from 88 to 93. Didn't get better, got worse. And when someone has the metabolic syndrome, they're in deep doo-doo. And as I always tell people, you're on the Titanic and you better be careful. You better be careful. And so the reset was created for that with great success. I tell people, I was telling someone the other day, I said, look, I'm not a researcher per se. Okay? I'm not in a university setting doing research. Okay? That's not me. I appreciate research. Of course I do. But I said, what you can't dismiss is clinical research, in the sense that, look, I had to get results. So I'll give you an example. Someone comes in and I really, my two biggest things in the office, okay? My two biggest things. One of them was hormones, and I developed a reputation on being able to help people with their hormones, okay, especially women. And they were all messed up. And as a matter of fact, we're offering a master class right now at Martin Clinic on hormones. Hormones 101. And what could go wrong? Oh my word. Talk about. But it was so common in my practice. And where people were not taken seriously, unfortunately, still today, there's so few. One of the pet peeves I have, okay, in medicine generally, one of the pet peeves is that they're so specialized now. And, so unless you see an endocrinologist, it's too specialized. So what happens is that women were falling through the cracks. They had thyroid issues, but no one, but your blood tests are within normal limits. Or they're on Synthroid, or they're on levothyroxine and whatever, and they're not any better. Or they were estrogen dominant, and no one ever told them. And no one ever checked their cortisol. And even if they did, they didn't say anything about it. And so that was a big part of my practice, guys. A big part of my practice. The other part was metabolic syndrome, but even more than that, the other part was how many thousands of years over the years of how many diabetics I saw, or pre-diabetic. And again, a lot of people came into the office, they either knew they were diabetic, or I discovered that they were diabetic or pre, and they didn't know it. And I used to tell them, look, the best way to detect the diabetes is through the urine, not the blood. Okay? Now, you can do an A1C. I love A1C test. And I get the A1C results. I like that because it told me about insulin resistance. And guys, by the way, so does triglycerides and HDL. Somebody asked me again this morning, and folks, listen, I enjoy, or I do. You're not bothering me when you ask questions, okay? You're not bothering me. We sort of have, even though I'm not in practice anymore, and our staff is fantastic because we're responding to people. They want to ask questions. Look, all of my practice was based on questions. I would ask them questions before they even saw me in practice. Ask anyone that ever came and saw me. They spent a good half hour. You had to come early to see me, right? Because you were in the waiting room. I was asking questions and you filled out a questionnaire. I wanted details. Your history from your childhood to whatever. Okay? I was because I've been in practice so long that I understood that history taking. My dad used to tell me, listen to patients. They have inside information. Ask questions. So I was trained like that, asking questions. And then, and people will testify to this. When you saw me, and I gave you the results, and I gave you a plan, you can ask me questions. Okay? And I surrounded myself with a staff that were good at that. And so-and-so wants to know, or even in the office, I would answer your questions. You got any questions? And I said, don't be shy. Write your questions down. People used to come in to my office, I'm not kidding you, a lot of people did, with a notepad. I said, look, we're going to write it all down anyways. You're going to get a full report. But they come in with a notepad. Doc, what does this mean? What does that mean? What's this? What's that? And guys, like I said, I'm a question guy. Whether you're asking me questions or I'm asking you questions, how can you get information? So back to hormones, that's a problem. In medicine today, they don't answer questions. One, or not all of them. Again, when I paint with a wide brush, okay? And sometimes, you don't have to tell me if you have a good doctor. Good for you. I'm happy for you, and I mean that. I want you to have a good doctor. But unfortunately, I have to say it all the time, that women and men, they fall through the cracks because they're not... I had somebody send me blood results last week, I think. And I said, well, you're a diabetic, aren't you? And the email comes back to me. Well, nobody told me that. I said, well, I just saw your A1C. It's through the roof. You're diabetic. Now, for me, the reset, coming back to the reset, the point of all this, okay, is the reset. It turns the ship around. And if you're in a lifeboat, because you already hit the iceberg on the Titanic, you're in a lifeboat, it's going to save your life. The 30-day program. And guys, I'm not changing my mind about that. Because the one thing you can do is change your food. and change your understanding of food. Okay? And just a little side note, every day now, for the last 2 months, I think, maybe a little bit longer, every day I'm getting asked, every day I'm reading something new about medication for weight loss. And this is the new kid on the block. Ozempic and other medications that are used for diabetics. And now they become, you know, like a street drug for weight loss. You know, and here's what I say in a general thing. Besides the fact that they got enormous side effects, I posted something in the Facebook the other day, our private Facebook group, that Ozempic, let me get it, because I think I have it right in front of me. What did I post here? Ozempic might help you lose weight, but it might give you cancer and organ failure too. You see the headache I'm getting and my blood pressure goes up? It's like a street drug. Yeah, but doc, I get high. No, but doc, you know, I hear, because I got so many people asking me, I hear it's really good for weight loss. Yeah. It's, first of all, the weight loss will be temporary. You're going to lose muscle and not fat. It's going to come back, that weight will come back as soon as you stop the medication. And you can't stay on the medication for long because it has way too many side effects. But it's amazing how people, and now millions of people, are on these, like I said, I call them street drugs. Because it's a quick fix, but it's not fixing anything. And I know weight loss can be so frustrating. Do you think I don't know that? But what I'm telling patients, and I've been telling them this for 50 years, there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. You have to form new habits. If one of the biggest things in obesity is your hormones are a mess. And if you starve yourself, well, some people starve themselves and still don't lose any weight. But if you starve yourself and you lose a little bit of weight, I can promise you one thing, it's coming back. If you go by calories, that weight is coming back. Weight loss programs by nature are failures. All of them. Because it's calories in and calories out. And it's a points system. Guys, the best thing you can do is educate yourself. Educate yourself. Understand how the body works. And like I said, I'm not a carnivore. I'm not. I'm a nutrivore. And here's what I found over several years of practice, and why I double down on the reset all the time, is because when you give your body fuel, rocket fuel, when you get your body out of insulin resistance. You've turned the Titanic around. You're not going to hit the iceberg. And if you've already hit the iceberg, you're going to get into a lifeboat and it will change your life. It will save your bacon. And this is why for people, they're frustrated. You get it. Doc, I did the reset and I didn't lose the weight that I wanted to lose. I know. And that happens. And I get it. But you have to understand that the reset was made to fix a serious problem. And once you get that fixed, you turn your ship around, I promise you, your hormones are going to get better. I promise you that your inflammation markers are going to come down. That's a very important marker. As insulin resistance comes down and your cells become more insulin sensitive, you get a conglomerate of things that get better. And I always tell people, look, I didn't say this was going to be an easy program. If you're a carboholic, it is very difficult. If you're used to, if someone is used to eating carbs, and a lot of people eat carbs because they think they can't live without them. A lot of people eat frequently because they think it's actually good for their metabolism. And they have no idea about the underlying conditions of insulin resistance. They have no idea. And when you have insulin resistance, you and carbs don't get along. They burn too fast. It's not rocket fuel. It's 87 octane. And that's all right for your car, but it's not all right for you. Your body is designed, was made to burn at the cellular level high octane fuel. And I'm telling you, there's nothing. It's not even close in comparison. When you have an egg, when you have meat, especially red meat, when you have dairy, good dairy, like cheese and cream and butter, your body was made to run on those fuels. Your body will run. You could have 10 Pepsis. Your body will operate. You're fearfully and wonderfully made. I read that this morning in Psalm 139. I read it this morning. Your body, but understand this. You will not get away with it. You won't. And this is why I tell my vegetarian friends, I tell my vegan friends, you're making a mistake. And it's not based on my ideology, okay? It's not. I never tell a person that they can't have fruits and vegetables, that they can't have from the plant kingdom. There's 3 kingdoms of food at the Martin Clinic. There's the animal kingdom, eggs, meat, and cheese. There's the plant kingdom, fruits and vegetables, and then there's the man-made kingdom. Crickets. Plant burgers. Oh! the middle aisles of your grocery stores. Those are man-made foods. Go through all the cereals. They're man-made. It's not nature. Oh, Dr. Martin, there's a heart on the box. Yeah, because you're going to have a heart attack if you eat it. Those are man-made foods. That's the man's kingdom. Go down the middle aisles of your grocery store. Even your juices. Go to the drink section in your grocery store. I don't like going there because it gives me a headache, guys. And I go, people are drinking this stuff, from juices to all these. It drives me crazy. Your body wasn't meant for that. That's man-made. God doesn't want you to drink fruit. He wants you to eat it. And they're God's candy. And the only reason I have changed my mind over the years about fruit is because of metabolic syndrome. If 93% of the population has trouble with insulin, because that's what metabolic syndrome is, which creates, is at the root of heart disease, at the root of cancer, at the root of autoimmune, at the root of diabetes, obviously. Well, you see, diabetes or pre-diabetic or whatever you want to call it is insulin resistance. You don't get insulin. You don't get diabetes without insulin resistance. That's the first step. And if you're in that 93%, I even limit your fruit. That's why I call them God's candies. You can't live on candies. Now, you're not going to die from eating apples or bananas or grapes or, of course you're not. But it's not, you can't live on that. Because you're going to pump out insulin. And your cells are already resisting insulin. So to turn the ship around, that's why I get 30 days. You can't even have anything from the plant kingdom to start off with. Okay? You don't get sick from the plant kingdom. You don't. Maybe if you live on, salad, you're going to be deficient. But I tell people it's not necessarily that you get sick on the plant kingdom. It's just not there for your repair. Not when it comes to insulin. You see, that's the overarching problem. And that's why the reset, guys. This is why I'm so adamant. And getting back to weight loss, I'm going to tell you something about fat cells. As long as insulin is present. Remember my book years ago? Some of you would remember it, okay? 2 hormones that want you dead, insulin and cortisol. I had that jail guard. I even think I put it in the metabolic syndrome again when I rewrote the book. You have a jail guard blocking fat from escaping. Insulin is a jail guard that blocks fat from escaping. And as long as you have insulin resistance, you're not going to lose weight. Well, if you do, it's muscle and not fat. Because insulin's job is to keep fat inside your body. Keep fat cells full. And that's why the reset, at the end of the day, even for weight loss, is the best. Because you're going to not lose an ounce of muscle. And the reset is aimed at your fat cells. And when you're eating high octane fuel, guys. Listen to what happens. Because one of the keys, and I talk about this in my new book, one of the key hormone that we don't talk enough about is leptin. And leptin is a hunger hormone. And when you're eating the wrong fuel, when people insist on stoking their fire in their wood stove with paper and twigs, bread, pasta, rice, cereals, sugar, sweets, pastries, juices, milk, alcohol, those are paper and twigs in a wood stove, and you're not going to heat your log cabin with those things for very long. You're constantly have to refuel. You're constantly, and my friend, that you develop not only insulin resistance, you develop leptin resistance, and your body is hungry all the time. You have hunger. And guys, this is why I would explain it to my patients. This is why you do the reset, even for weight loss. And I will put it up, and I mean this, I will put it up against any other weight loss program. Even though it's not a weight loss program. It isn't. Not at its primary goal. It's to fix insulin. And it's to fix leptin. And when you do that, you get a conglomerate of beneficial factors for your body. Insulin resistance comes down. Your leptin comes down. Your body is burning the right fuels. Your brain says, thank you, Jesus. I mean, literally, it thanks you for giving it the right fuel. Your brain doesn't need carbs. I know if you read 99% of the gurus in diet, well, you need so many carbs a day. No, you don't. Your brain loves eggs, meat, and cheese. It loves it because it's a high octane nutritional octane like no other, guys. There's no other foods like that. And every part of your body, and I explain this in the reset, every part of your body benefits. Your blood, inflammation, cognitive, your heart, your liver, your kidneys, your gut, your stomach. I explain all that. And guess what, guys? Tomorrow, sun, steak, and steel is out. Okay? Tomorrow, it's official. We launch our new book. Number, I have to look again. I think it's 21 or 22 on the hit parade there. Okay? And we're super excited. Okay? Super excited for that launch. Okay? So that's tomorrow. So get ready. You can get the new book. But all of that, the reset that I put back in that book, okay? It's rewritten with enormous amount of detail because I'm answering every question that I could think of that people have asked me about the reset over the years. That's in my new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel. Okay? Coming tomorrow. I'm so happy I can say it. Okay, guys. Friday's question and answer Friday, so get your questions in. Okay? Again, we are big time into answering questions for you. We love it. We appreciate it. I'm used to it. Okay? Like I said, I did a radio show for 20 years. Question and answer. Live radio. Okay? So I'm used to it. Okay. Love you dearly. Talk to you soon.